Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cascade Hypnosis Center, and we are live on YouTube and Zoom. Facebook still is giving us a problem, but that's okay. That's okay. We don't mind that. We still know what we're doing here, and we can post it later. So, welcome everybody to this discussion on how to help people with anxiety. The top 3 anti-anxiety techniques that are really serving our clients right now. So let me go ahead and bring up the presentation. Welcome everybody. So glad that you are here. How to become a professional hypnotist, the 3 things you must do in hypnosis for your clients to experience lasting relief from anxiety. All right, so let's dive right in. I'm here sitting at Cascade Hypnosis Center for Training and Services. We're in beautiful Bellingham, Washington. So please, using the chat, let us know, where are you in the world? Are you here in the Pacific Northwest? Are you in California or on the East Coast? Please use the chat and let us know where you're coming in from. Oh, Chicago. Hi, Tina. Great to meet you. Hi, Brittany in Newport, Oregon. Yeah, the beach there, right on the coast. I think there's a marathon there I was thinking of doing a long time ago. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for being here, and I'll continue as people join. So, I created Cascade Hypnosis Center in 2013 after a really low point in my life. I ended up in the hospital. I had been drinking. This isn't something I always talked about, but I have been lately just because it's so helpful for people. But I really wasn't sure if I wanted to continue with my life. I was really low. I was really unhappy. And I had kind of followed the world's view of what would bring us happiness. And in our life, I was married and had the career and the job and the house and the cars and dog and cat and everything. And I ended up wondering, well, where's that happiness that I was promised? Because I certainly wasn't happy. I was really, really stressed. I was depressed. I was unhappy, and I was drinking. And so I ended up in the hospital, and there was a very specific moment where I realized, if I don't make a change in my life, this is going to kill me. This is going to kill me. And so there was a moment, and I still remember it today. I was in sitting on the gurney with those hospital gowns that are way too small for you, really too short, right? Just uncomfortable. But I realized that I had to make a change. And in that moment, I decided. So the word decide is so powerful, and it's very powerful for our clients too, because we want to cut off. And that's what the root of the word decide means, to cut off. And so I decided in that moment never to drink again. And that's been the case for me with the help of hypnosis. And in that decision, I felt the entire power of the universe behind me in that decision. And so in that moment when I made that decision, I realized I have to have a new way of living. I can't keep living like this and make this change that I want to make. And so I started seeking a new way of being, a new way of living. And less than a year later, I became a professional hypnotist. And so hypnosis really, really helped me lose weight, stop drinking, get rid of my TMJ, improve my sleep. And I use it in every aspect of my life now. But even more important, I was able to transition into a full-time career in less than a year. And we have our grads that are transitioning to full-time hypnotists and part-time hypnotists at a variety of lengths. Yes, you can do it in less than a year, but you can take longer if you'd like. So there's no race, but some people are really anxious to get out of the situation they're in right now. And so in less than a year, I was a full-time hypnotist. And since then, we have helped thousands of people lead better lives, more happier, more fulfilling, more purposeful. And we've been doing that since 2013. We've trained almost 500 people in the art of hypnotherapy, and it's a great honor to do that. So I learned that I could only help one person at a time in hypnosis, and that's when I became a trainer in 2014. And my goal is to train 1,000 people in hypnosis in order to help 1 million people with the power of hypnosis. And at that point, I believe that more people will understand the value of hypnosis, and maybe they'll go to the hypnotist first before they try other things, because hypnosis gives us our power back. So now we have trained over 350. I think that's closer. It's over 400 right now. That needs to be updated. I'm a board certified hypnotist with the National Guild of Hypnotists, which is the oldest and largest hypnosis professional organization in the world. I've won a bunch of awards here, and this is all just to say that this is really a profession. This isn't just a hobby, although some people have it as a hobby. This absolutely is a profession. You can grow in this profession, and there are awards and other things to help you do that, of course. I'm also an author. You might be familiar with some of my books. My first two, Reprogram Your Weight and Lighter, are on weight loss and help a lot of people lose weight. As a matter of fact, this picture here was a group event where I invited a whole bunch of people who wanted to lose weight with hypnosis, and I taught a full day event. We recorded it, and here's a picture with everybody with the book. So that was a lot of fun. And that might be something that you like to do. We find that a lot of our grads love the idea of event-based, of taking people to an event or like a retreat type of thing. And hypnosis works really, really well in that setting because it helps people get associated to the things that are really important to them, and they can have a transformational experience. Like I said, my goal is to help 1 million people with the power of hypnosis. And we get there with 1,000 hypnotists, and you'll be helping at least 1,000 people in your career, and that brings us to 1 million people. Now, our agenda today, we're going to talk about the modern and professional hypnotherapeutic techniques that we use in the office here. And this is very important because I only teach techniques that we use. Now, my experience as a professional hypnotist, the first training that I got was a local training here in Bellingham, at the Bellingham Technical College, and it was good, but it wasn't great, and it wasn't professional. So I would say that it was good training. I got super excited about hypnosis. I learned kind of what hypnosis really is, but I didn't feel like I had the skills of a professional hypnotist. So when I ended up graduating from that class, I was really inspired, but I also recognized, I don't know what to do with a client. Like when the client comes with a presenting issue, I wasn't quite sure exactly what to do. So although it was a good course, I kind of consider it now like a Hypno 101 style of a course that really inspires people and helps them kind of recognize the power of hypnosis, but it's not quite enough. And it certainly wasn't enough for me. And so what I did here in Bellingham, I called the other hypnotists in town. I offered to buy them coffee, did some networking. And one of them said, Erica, if you want to be a professional hypnotist, you better learn 5-path. And so I became a 5-path hypnotist. And with the power of 5-path, which I'll go over today briefly, I know what to do with every single client because it's systematic. And so we take the thinking out of it for you, the professional hypnotist, because it's systematic. So you get to be fully present with your client. And that is where the magic happens. We don't want you searching for a script. We don't want you wondering, what should I do with this client when they're presenting with this issue? You don't have to do any of that, okay? Our approach is systematic and repeatable. And again, this means that you get to be fully present with your client to notice where things are breaking down for them. We get to catch it. Okay? So students have success in class and build confidence right away. Our goal is for you to have a personal experience in hypnosis before or during class. Now, when that happens, it's easy for you to talk about hypnosis and it's easy for you to get clients. Now, there's no prior experience necessary. You don't have to have a degree in therapy or psychotherapy or anything like that. And the reason is because the answers are within our clients. Okay, the answers, they're not in your brain. The answers are within our clients, and they're subconscious and unconscious in our clients. And it's our job as professional hypnotists. We help our clients focus on certain things, and so we are professional attention shifters. That's what we do. We get to help our clients shift their attention from one thing to another in order to get them the result that they are looking for. All right? Why are you here now? You're probably thinking about becoming a professional hypnotist. You might have had experience with hypnosis before, so a lot of our incoming students have been hypnotized, but a lot of them haven't. A lot of them just know the power of the mind, or they have a friend or a family member that has tried hypnosis, and they're very curious about how the mind works. But you probably want the skills of a professional hypnotist. If you're anything like me, I wish I would have taken a different class first, although that wouldn't have made sense given the time and given everything that I know that happened. But nonetheless, I still think that if you're looking for a professional level training, you want to get professional level training in not only how to work with your clients, but the business of hypnosis and how to take your client from presenting issue all the way to full relief. So who is this training for? Well, it's for people with a servant's heart. So what is a servant's heart? That means you want to help people. That means you deeply care about other people and you want to help them. You want to make a difference in the world. And so what I like to say is we can teach you everything else. If your heart is in the right place, if you care, if you actually care about people and you want to see them get better, you're not doing this for money, you're not doing this for clout, you're not doing this because it's cool, you're doing this because you want to help other people, we can teach you everything else, okay? Our students tend to be nurses and other healthcare professionals, coaches and entrepreneurs. We get a lot of healers, a lot of educators, and we get a lot of folks like me that came from corporate IT, someone who, like, I was really good at my job, but I wanted something more fulfilling. I wanted something that was more meaningful to me, okay? We also get a lot of neuroscience geeks who love to know the why. Why is the brain doing that? Why do I feel that way, okay? Now, I'm going to be going over some elements in our new guide. So if you want a copy of the new guide, type guide in the chat there and we'll get you a copy of the guide, How to Become a Professional Hypnotist in 2024, because we don't have time to go over every single element that is in this guide today. We're going to focus on anti-anxiety today, which is probably the top skill that you will want to have as a hypnotherapist besides hypnosis will be anti-anxiety, because I would say the majority of our clients need anti-anxiety first before they can fully receive the benefit of hypnosis. So do you think that you are here and meant to help people in lasting and meaningful ways? And are you intrigued by how the mind works and believe we are more inherently powerful than we realize? If so, you are in exactly the right place. So let's briefly talk about what is hypnosis. This is a basic neuroscientific definition. So what we're going to do is we are going to reduce beta brainwaves and encourage alpha and theta brainwaves. Now, if you haven't heard of this before, beta brain waves are fast and specialized. I like to use my fingers like this because what it indicates is there's lots of specialized neurons there doing very specific things. And what that means to us as humans and having a human brain is you have a critical factor. You are able to think big thoughts and have a lot of different things in your mind at the same time. That's what beta is really good for. Now, high beta, okay, so high beta would be in the range of like 13 to 30 megahertz a second, okay, so that's cycles per second that this brainwave is moving. So high beta, right around above 20, does not feel very good. It feels very anxious. So we're often dealing with beta when we are helping our clients with anti-anxiety. So what we want to do is we want to reduce beta and then encourage alpha. And an alpha brainwave state is calm. It's a daydreamy state. You're still awake, you're still conscious, but you're daydreaming, and it feels very floaty. A lot of people consider flow to be in an alpha and maybe even a theta brainwave state, okay? So ideally, we're going to reduce beta to enter into hypnosis. Now, what are clients seeking support for these days? Well, number one is anxiety and feeling out of control. But what are they doing because they're anxious? Well, they're drinking and they're smoking marijuana and they're smoking cigarettes and they are not sleeping. They're getting in arguments with people that they care about. They are not following through on things. They're not feeling good about themselves. So that's why anxiety and feeling out of control is at the top. Now, some people, that's just it, right? They're not sleeping well and they're super anxious. But for a lot of our clients, they are using a coping strategy. A lot of my clients, because my experience of stopping drinking with hypnosis, I've helped a lot of people stop drinking with hypnosis, I've helped a lot of people stop smoking marijuana. And this is kind of new, right? But it's legal here in Washington. And there's a lot of people now that are realizing they're using it more than what they had originally intended. And so now they're coming to me to reduce or eliminate using cannabis in their life as well. But all of these are stemming from anxiety. Okay, they're stemming from anxiety, they're stemming from not feeling good in the body. So having the skills of anti-anxiety are paramount as a professional hypnotherapist. And I'm going to use anti-anxiety techniques with 100% of my clients. As a matter of fact, I have 2 clients right now. One of them isn't sleeping very well, and another one has cancer, and they're both super, super, super anxious. And a big part of the work that we are doing together is merely calming what we call the unconscious mind, the body's consciousness. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do that here in just a second. I'll show you how we do it, okay? Because if our clients are too anxious, it's hard for them to enter into a state of hypnosis, okay? So I'm going to teach my clients an anti-anxiety technique. I'm going to practice it with them a number of times, and then I'm going to ask them to go home and practice it as well, so that by the next time I see them, they've gained skill in that. And so they're gaining skill in anti-anxiety, and they're gaining skill in self-hypnosis. So by the next time I see them, they're automatically feeling significantly better. And now we get to start working on the deeper stuff, okay? All right, but the other things that clients are coming to us for, weight loss, okay? Still, anti-anxiety is a big part of this. What do people do when they don't feel well? What do they do when they are bored? What do they do when they're stressed? There's a lot of stress eating, okay? And there's a lot of boredom eating too, okay? Kids, helping kids with stress right now is a huge, huge piece of work. I hope that some of you on the call here today are interested in helping kids, because there's not enough hypnotists that are helping kids. And because of COVID, there is so much trauma, and there's just a lot of lack of focus and the challenge in learning, okay? So there's a lot of work to be done in that area. All right, so people come to us for these things, but what's actually happening? Well, underneath the covers, because we're going to get to root cause, underneath the covers, why are they actually drinking? Why are they actually reaching for food or substances? The actual root cause is trauma, abandonment, shame. The things that you could probably imagine happening. I am working with someone who she was left as an infant. She was left by herself as an infant in her crib for a little while, a couple of days, she said. And her mom told her this later, but she had massive anxiety from being an infant, and now her mother has validated that. Well, this is a very common theme, lots of anxiety when we are little. And so hypnosis is powerful enough to allow those feelings to come forth so that we can address them, and the techniques that we use are highly, highly effective, okay, which is very good news. Very, very good news. All right, so the 3 things that you must do in hypnosis for your client to experience lasting relief from anxiety. The number 1 is calm the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is the body's consciousness. It is your physical body, okay? So when you're feeling a sensation of anxiety in your body, we're talking about the body's consciousness or the unconscious mind. So the unconscious mind is instinctual, and it's autonomic, and it's just processing, it's digesting your food, it's protecting you from intruders in the outside world, it's beating your heart. That's what we consider the body's consciousness. And so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to address that. So let's flip over to the anti-anxiety toolkit. The anti-anxiety toolkit, I've been developing this, started authoring this over 10 years ago at the beginning of my practice. That's how important this is, and we just keep updating it because it's such a critical aspect of really helping clients get long-lasting relief from anxiety, okay? So the anti-anxiety toolkit, the very first beginning here, we talk about your brain, your 3 brains, the evolution of your brain. And there's more information here that we're not really going to go into right now, but if you are interested, this document too is available. So if you want a copy of this document, you can just type in anti-anxiety or anxiety into the chat. We'll make sure to give you a copy of this document as well. So this is the document that hypnotherapists can use to help their clients. We'll be happy to give you guys a copy of it too. All right. So part of what is happening is negativity bias. And negativity bias is the brain's, the brain really focuses on negativity. Okay, now why is that? Well, the reason that the brain focuses on negativity is because it is assuming that that part isn't working. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. So it's not going to your brain isn't going to focus on everything that you're doing well. It's going to focus on everything that isn't going well. And so we experience that as negativity bias. But from our client's perspective, our clients are feeling like, man, I'm, negative self-talk, I'm feeling down, and this isn't working, and that isn't working, and this person and that person. And so there's a lot of negativity that comes up because of negativity bias. And so we have to address that with our clients. So I'm always going to have a conversation about negativity bias with my clients to help them understand there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. If your brain does this automatically, if your brain automatically goes towards the negative, that doesn't mean you're a negative person. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your brain. That's just how brains work. This is a very, very important and common belief that we want to shift for our clients. That's one of the most important beliefs that we want to help our clients achieve, and that is you belong. You belong here. Okay? Because a lot of our clients don't have a sense of belonging. They don't have a sense that they want to be here or that they were wanted. Okay? So we want to help our clients feel like they belong and have that sense of belonging. And so when we get rid of negativity bias and now there's more positivity happening here, they feel better in general. They feel like they do belong here, and that helps quite a bit. Okay? So, let's get down to the solution. The solution of negativity bias is to overcome our own biology. So we know that the brain is going to be oriented negatively, but we do have the prefrontal cortex, which is the smartest part of your brain. So we're going to use that part of the brain to overcome this anti-anxiety. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. We're going to do this at first. This is the most powerful technique, and it is called the unwind technique. Now, for my clients, I will teach them this technique usually when I first see them, especially if they're presenting with a significant amount of anxiety. This is the first thing we have to do. Okay, and I will teach them this, and we'll go through it probably 2, 3, 4 times in the very first session. It's that effective. So clients will feel significantly better just in that first session, and then we can continue with hypnosis. Now, if I have a client who's super, super anxious, we might have to do it a couple more times. But let me tell you something, if we didn't do it, and I did hypnosis with my client, it wouldn't be as good of a result. Not at all. Okay, so anti-anxiety is such an important skill for you to have as a professional hypnotist. So let's go over the basics of this one right now. Okay, this one is step 1, awareness. Awareness is always the first step. Okay, so when you're helping clients, the very first thing is to help them become aware of what is happening. Okay, so how do you know? I'm going to ask my client, how do you know when you're anxious? What is the very first step? And for everybody on the call, please type in the chat. How do you know? Have you ever thought about this before? How do you know when you're anxious? We want to catch anxiety when it's at its lowest potential. If we wait until we're feeling really anxious, needing to like run out of the room, that type of a thing, it's too late. It's too late. It's already happened. We already have the physiological aspects of feeling too anxious, okay? So for me, I feel butterflies in my stomach, right? My fingertips start to get a little sweaty. Yeah, Brittany, your heart rate increases. Yeah, that's a good one, right? I might feel antsy, right? I might feel like my legs start to kick. It's almost like, get out of here, right? Like, let's run, that type of a thing. Yep, Wendy, racing heart, racing thoughts, right? Your brain is trying to find solutions, or it's trying to find answers, right? You might feel panicked. Exactly. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to notice when that sensation is at its very, very lowest. So this is the awareness step. And I want you to do something. So when you notice that you're starting to feel that, I want you to do a technique. Now, the technique that I want you to do, the first and foremost that works for almost everybody and is the anti-anxiety technique that most people choose at the end, is this one right here, is this unwind technique. Now, this unwind technique is based on an NLP technique called backward spin, and it was developed in 1970 something in NLP by Dr. Richard Bandler. So we've updated it for hypnosis, and it is super effective. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do, so now my client has told me how they know when they're anxious, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them to bring up some anxiety right in front of me. Okay, but you got to be careful with this. I don't want them to go into their drama right then and there. So I am going to prime them with, just imagine you're sitting in the car and you're late. Or you're supposed to be on a Zoom call and you're leading a Zoom call and your Zoom says that it needs to reinstall or something like that. I don't want them to go into their big trauma. I want them to practice with something that we all find a little anxiety, right? Like, I'm stuck in traffic and I'm late. Okay, so I give them that suggestion. I will allow them to bring up their anxiety. So I'll say, on that scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being so anxious you're about ready to run out of the room, bring that anxiety up to a level 6. Okay, now if you guys are on the call, you can feel free to do this right now if you would like. We know how to unwind this anxiety, but the truth is, I'm going to keep talking with my client until they achieve at least a level of 6. And when they tell me that they're at a level 6, I'm going to say, good job. So you, by thinking about something, can increase your anxiety. We're going to use the exact same technique to decrease it as well, okay? So the next thing that I'm going to have my client do is close their eyes. I'm going to have them move their hand to demonstrate to me how that anxiety feels in the body. So anxiety, what the brain thinks anxiety is, oh, you want to finish a project, you want to go do something. Here's some energy. Here's some energy to go complete that task, okay? So that's what anxiety is, but it doesn't feel good to us, and so we want to turn it down. Okay, so I will say to my client, how is that energy moving in your body? Show me with your hand. And so clients will be going like this, kind of feels jittery, or it feels like it's going back and forth, or it feels like it's spinning around for a lot of people. And that's why the original name is called backward spin. And I'll say, very good job. I want you to get a handle on that feeling. And once you've got a handle, move your hand in the exact opposite direction. There's a little bit more to it. However, this technique is mind-blowing for a lot of clients, because what's happening here, and I think this is really, really cool. What's happening here is you're actually speaking, because anxiety is coming from your body, thinking it's helping you to meet a challenge. And what we get to do is we get to harness the power of the physical body. We get to speak body back to our body. That's why the hand movement, okay? And so the idea is, thank you for that extra energy, but I don't really need it. We get to unwind that energy. Now, I'm going to do that with my clients 3 times in a row. And before we begin, I will ask them to rate their anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10, bringing it up to a 6. They'll usually bring it up to a 6. And then after the first time, they've usually brought it down to a 3 or a 2. And a lot of times they're really surprised, like, how did that happen? How did that happen? Like, it kind of dissipates is the idea. And I'll say, let's do it again. You're stuck in traffic again. Go ahead and bring it up again. Now they get the experience of increasing the anxiety. Once again, I praise them. See, you can do that. Just thinking about it brings it up. Now do the unwind technique, and they bring it back down again. And we will practice it a 3rd time. So by the time that my client leaves the office, the very first session, they have some skill with anti-anxiety. Now, what I'm going to tell them is I'm going to say, I want you to starve your brain from anxiety the entire week long. So when you go home and if you notice that you're starting to feel a little anxious, I want you to do this technique and bring it down. And then I want you to do the technique and bring it down again so that you really are starving your brain from anxiety. Now, you might end up doing this 10 times on the first day, and a lot of my clients do. And that's all right. That's all right. Don't think that there's anything wrong with you or that you're going to be doing it 10 times a day forever. Because usually what happens is the next day it's 8, the next day it's 4, the next day it's 2, and then pretty soon clients are coming back. So after that first session, I'll ask them how their week went. The common response is that they just had the best week of their life. And the reason for that is they are getting rid of anxiety, and so they're more present for everything that's going on in their life. They're sleeping better, they're having better conversations, and they're not so scattered, okay? And so this right here is the number one anti-anxiety tool. And this is for acute anxiety, when they're feeling anxious right then and there, okay? But there are other techniques in this anti-anxiety toolkit. There's the anti-anxiety diffusion technique. This one is great for kids and great for CEOs and other business professionals who are pacing and walking around as they are anxious. So anxiety diffusion technique is really, really good as well. It uses bilateral stimulation. Okay, so that is my favorite anti-anxiety technique. I teach it to all of my clients and they get great results from it. Now, over time, as clients are using their hands like this, then they start using their fingers, and then after that, they're not using their body at all, so that they can do this type of technique in a room full of people and nobody's wondering, what are you doing with your hands? Why are you doing that weird stuff? Okay, so we get to condition the body to feel better, and then it starts happening automatically. Okay, now the second thing that we're going to do, because the first thing is calm the unconscious mind, that's the body's consciousness. Okay, so we're going to calm down the body. Number 2, we're going to calm down the mind. Okay, so subconscious, the subconscious mind, the heart and emotion. We do this in hypnosis. We get to heal the past. We get to use powerful age regression and forgiveness therapies and parts mediation therapy to truly help our clients have a new experience of the past. Because what happens when our clients are anxious is there's part of the brain that kind of ditches out in trauma thinking that they're going to die, basically. And we need to kind of go rescue those parts in the mind, and we get to put a new ending on the story, okay? We get to go back to that part of the brain and say, yes, it was scary, but you didn't die. And we know that because you're sitting here right now. And we get to go into the deep, deep parts of the mind where the body's consciousness and the conscious mind would very likely block this. But in a state of hypnosis, we get to return and put a new ending on the sentence there. So we get to go back to our client's consciousness and we get to help them understand, yeah, it was scary, but you didn't die. Okay? So one of my clients that comes to mind here, she had a fear of flying. And so I asked her, well, how did this come about? Well, she was leaving SeaTac here in Seattle, the international airport here in Seattle, and they got off the ground and they heard a loud bang. And the pilot came on and said, oh, we lost an engine. And so they turned around and they landed. But she was so anxious and she never got on a plane again. Okay. But now, and this is the first question I asked her when she came in, because I said, it's been 4 years, why now? Well, her daughter, who lives in Florida, is pregnant. And so she's not going to miss her first grandbaby being born. And so that is what prompted her. And we always want to know, what is it that is inspiring or motivating our clients to take action? Because that usually is very important understanding when serving them and helping them. Okay. So in this case, what ended up happening was when the engine kind of made the loud bang and the pilot came on, there was a flight attendant running down the aisle, and my client saw the look on that flight attendant's face, and the look on her face was of pure terror. So the deeper parts of her assumed that if the flight attendant is that scared, we are all going to die. But they didn't. They didn't die. Now, the thing is that everybody else got on a plane and got on the next plane and went to their destination, but she didn't. And so she thought there was something wrong with her. Why was everybody else able to get back on the plane? Why is this not a big deal for everybody else? Well, after a couple sessions of hypnosis, we got to the bottom of it. And she was off seeing her grandson in no time. But what we had to understand was that it makes sense that you would be scared, and it makes sense that the body might feel that way, but that was erroneous information. Because in fact, the plane landed just fine. And we get, with the power of hypnosis, we get to bypass all of that anxiety and all of that fear, which we would consider as very righteous. It's real. It would be a scary experience for anybody. We get to bypass that in hypnosis and get to the source and resolve it, okay? Now, the third thing that we're going to do is establish a new foundation of calm and retrain the brain. So we get to establish a new way of living and being in the world. And a lot of this has to do with relationships. So one of the most stressful things that we experience as humans is how we relate to other people, including ourselves. Okay, so in number 3, we are really helping our clients improve their self-relationship, so self-love, self-nurturing, self-care, not what the world thinks you need, but what you actually need to lead and love your life, okay? And then how they're relating to other people in the world as well, okay? All right, so in order to do that, you've got to get great training, okay? And number 2, live hypnotically. You want to apply hypnosis to your own life and gain skill daily. The best hypnotists are applying hypnosis to their own life and living better, and then they get to use that and help other people. Number 3, be the lighthouse. Share the practical applications of hypnosis regularly. And this could be you're writing an article, you're doing a video, you're going to your weekly group or your networking group or a church group or your soccer club, and you are telling people the power of hypnosis. But then last, you're going to get great results for your clients with systematic and repeatable hypnosis. All right, so number 1, get great training. Like I said before, I had different training, which was good, and I still like it. I still like the teacher, and I'm still friends with people in that class. It's been 11 years, but we're still friends. So a lot of really good things happened in that class, but it wasn't enough to help me feel confident to be a professional hypnotist where I'm receiving money from people for really big and hard things in their life. So you really want to get good training. So what separates hypnotists that struggle from the ones that make a difference? So I'm going to share the systematic approach here with you guys now that really helps our clients get results. And it is called 5-Path, 5-Phase Advanced Transformational Hypnosis. Now, this is what I do with all my clients, but the cool thing about 5-Path is that it really is a framework. And so we have hypnotists, we have counselors, we have other healers, coaches, other people that have other formats and other ways that they help their clients, and you can integrate into 5-Path. So it's not something where you have to do it the same way every single time. It's a framework, so you can use it in a way that works for you and what you're already doing with your clients, okay? All right, so 5-Path is a systematic approach, and it flows alongside the human emotional scale. So this is what we're going to do first. We're going to build hope. And that's in phase 1, preparation, testing, and convincing. It creates hope and a belief in the ability to change. Then we're going to release fear. Okay, so we've got to build up hope first. Our clients aren't entirely hopeless. They wouldn't be in your office if they were hopeless. But they're questioning, and they might not be super confident in their ability to change, okay? So this very first session is so critical and so important, and that's why we often need to start phase 1 with anti-anxiety, okay? So you, as a professional hypnotist, you're gonna want the skills as a hypnotist, but also anti-anxiety skills too. And that's for you too, because guess what? Your clients are gonna show up anxious. Your clients are gonna show up with bad behavior. Your clients are gonna show up and they're not always being nice, right? They're not always being courteous. They're not always, why? Because they don't feel good, okay? And so there's going to be opportunities where your client is feeling really anxious, or they might be being rude, they might be being difficult, whatever it is. And if you aren't working on your own anti-anxiety, you might get triggered, Okay. And so anti-anxiety isn't just for your clients. It's something that you as a professional hypnotist need to be really, really good at. And I'm really thankful. I know for sure that part of the reason that I love hypnosis so much is because I'm naturally kind of anxious. I'm naturally a little high strung. And so I always had a hard time kind of just going from 100% to calm down, right? And hypnosis really, really helps with that. So phase 1, preparation, testing, and convincing. It creates hope and belief in the ability to change. So after this first session, our clients are leaving feeling amazing. As a matter of fact, I have story after story after story after story of clients saying things to me like, oh my gosh, Erika, I forgot what good felt like. I forgot what it felt like to feel good in my body. And I have so many clients report to me they haven't felt that relaxed, they haven't felt that good in a long time. And guess what happens? When we remove the anxiety, when we remove the perceptual burden that our client, and I'm pointing to my shoulders intentionally, right? Because we often feel like we have all these burdens on our shoulder and we have all these responsibilities. And as we get older, we tend to take on more responsibility and more responsibility and more responsibility, and we don't get rid of the old one. So now, all week long, we're super busy, we're feeling anxious, we can't keep it all together, right? And so, we really want to help our clients in that very first session to feel good again. Hypnosis stops the thinking mind. It gives our clients peace beyond whatever they've achieved recently. It is profoundly helpful for our clients merely to teach them an anti-anxiety technique and do a short hypnosis session with them. Just in this first session, 30 minutes of hypnosis, clients are leaving feeling like $1,000,000. I had a client today before our call here, and he's coming to me to stop drinking. And nobody in his family knows that he drinks. It's very, it's hidden, kind of, right? He hides it. He hides it well, let's put it that way. But after the last session, he said he had the best 2 days of his life. Now, I attribute that just to him. I attribute that to him like that deep sigh of relief and a single hypnosis session, kind of removing all of the pressure, the chaos, the stress, and everything that his thinking mind had tried to keep in working memory for the last couple of years. We were able to release that. And so he was happy and joking with his family. He cooked dinner one night and everything was great. Okay. Now, he wasn't able to keep that all week long, but it was better. It was significantly better. Okay. Now, if he was able to keep it all week long, we might not have to have 7 sessions. But the truth is, I'm going to work with my clients on average 5 sessions. That's 5 weeks on average that we get to work with our clients. Please do not be the type of hypnotist where you promote a one and done. Those just don't work. You might see them around single session of stop smoking, single session of weight loss. And those can inspire people, but ultimately they are not enough to help people achieve that for the long term. Now, we often get clients who are really ready to stop smoking, right? And they just need that last little bit. So every once in a while, there are people who can go to one of those hotel hypnotists or something like that and get the results. But in general, most people need way more sessions. And I see other folks out there, other hypnotists out there promising this single session of hypnosis. And then what happens is if it doesn't work for that client, which it usually doesn't, okay, we at least need to see our client for a second session to see how it applied and so that we can make adjustments. They think that there's something wrong with them. That's the downside, right? So these folks who are promoting single sessions, a lot of these clients come to me. They're like, oh yeah, I went to this single stop smoking person. There was somebody in town doing that. And they come to me and they feel like there's something wrong with them because this single session of hypnosis didn't work. Well, it's a little ridiculous if you've been smoking for 20 years and thinking, 90 minutes of hypnosis are going to change all that. And it certainly can change a lot. Okay, it can change a lot, but ultimately we want to see our clients week after week because the stress and the drama and everything that's going on in their life, we really want to give our clients 100% relief. Okay, so the single session of hypnosis, in my opinion, is more of a marketing technique to get people in the door. It's not effective. Okay. For phase 2, age regression is the most powerful technique that we have as hypnotists. Now, some people are afraid of age regression. They think that we shouldn't go back to the trauma, and we don't go back to the trauma. What we do is we put a new ending on the sentence. There is a difference, okay? Or a new ending on the story, okay? So we are not going to spend time where the client is really revivifying their trauma. No, not at all. So don't get that confused with anything. I know that some folks are afraid of age regression, and that's only when it's not done well. But don't be afraid of a powerful technique. Okay, you just want to get the right training. Now we're going to spend 3 full days on age regression, and age regression really is the most powerful technique. This is what helped my client who was afraid of flying. She got to go back, and we got to tell her that the plane lands just fine. Okay. It sounds, unbelievable, but in a state of hypnosis, it works. And what happens? 5 hours, we get memory reconsolidation. So we have proof of this neurobiologically. We have neuroplasticity is going to go in and make changes in the brain so that the next time she thinks about stepping on a plane, the next time she drives by SeaTac or considers going to Florida, those old feelings don't come up anymore. They're gone. We got rid of them. She got rid of them. Okay? After we get rid of that fear, our clients are usually feeling significantly better. They usually have stopped drinking or smoking. I had another client who had terrible nightmares because of childhood trauma, okay? And after the second session of hypnosis, when we did age regression, the nightmares were gone, and she never had them again. It was amazing. So please don't avoid age regression just because someone said it was dangerous or hard to do. We want to use the best techniques that we have in the world, okay? And there are some specific things that you do to avoid anything in age regression that might be considered problematic, okay? You just have to get great training. Phase 3 is forgiveness of others. So once we get rid of that fear, we're going to get rid of the anger. And, the anger... the anger is really important to discuss with your client. And the reason is because most people don't want to be associated with anger. Everyone I get afraid, I'm afraid. Like most people will say that they can get afraid about things, but they won't raise their hand if you ask them who's angry. Now that's changing, but the truth is, even if people are recognizing and saying that they're angry, they're not always saying that they're angry about the things that are really holding them back, okay? Now, think about people pleasers. Think about somebody who is really amazing. It's usually a woman, not always. A people pleaser who just wants everybody to be happy. This person does not want to be angry. They don't want to be associated with anger. They just want to be pleasant and loving. And if you allow that client to continue thinking that way, you'll never get to root cause. Never get to root cause. So we have to get at the righteous anger, the righteous unfairness in our client's life. And we have a very, very effective way of doing that. This is also where a lot of our clients that are experiencing chronic pain, we've got to get rid of the anger. There's a direct correlation between anger and chronic pain. You can check out Dr. John Sarno's work if you're interested in that, but I can validate in my practice plenty of clients, if they present with chronic back pain, I know for sure there's going to be anger there. We're not going to go after anger at the outset. We're going to go through the phases just as they are here because we have to get rid of the fear first. But we always find anger, and guess what? When that anger is released, the back pain goes away. Okay, so there's definitely a lot of powerful work that can be done in phase 3. Now, phase 4, once our client has gotten rid of the anger, we're going to have them forgive people in their life in a very unique and helpful way. And the forgiveness is basically, it's not actually forgiving someone, it is releasing the bad feelings that are associated with that situation. And our clients leave feeling significantly better. But phase 4, we're going to have them forgive themselves. And we have the leverage to help our clients forgive themselves. So if you can imagine people who have done things that they feel terrible about, okay, and you might have an experience where you feel terrible about, and you might say to yourself, I'm never going to forgive myself for that. Okay. Well, that level of guilt or resentment towards yourself will really hold you back, and it holds our clients back too. And so we have clients who have done all sorts of things, right? Our clients have been the perpetrators in certain experiences. Our clients have done things that they regret. Our clients have behaved in ways that they wish they could take back. And I don't want my clients walking around feeling like that, right? We all make mistakes. And so forgiveness of self is so powerful. This is really where our clients set themselves free. This is like wiping the slate clean. So they're really setting themselves free with this. And then phase 5 is parts mediation therapy. And so phase 5 addresses any secondary gain. Now, secondary gain is a second reason to hang on to the problem. Okay, so for example, let's say you have Grandma Betty who has a hip problem. She just had surgery. Grandma Betty just had surgery, and so she can't move very well. And so grandson Bobby comes over, he mows the yard, she bakes him cookies, and he brings her groceries, and it's been really nice. But the weird thing is that the doctor says Grandma Betty's hip is fine, but Grandma Betty says it still hurts. So what do you think might be happening? Well, Grandma Betty probably, and this is unconscious, this secondary gain isn't always conscious. It's not something that they are choosing. But Grandma Betty is hanging on to her hip pain because she wants Bobby to come over. Okay, so there's lots of experiences in our life where there's a second reason to hang on to the problem, okay? And we have to check for that. This happens in weight loss too, okay? So lots of secondary gain in weight loss when our clients are losing a lot of weight, but their spouse isn't. Now the spouse starts to feel left out. The spouse starts to feel a lack of confidence, and there's all sorts of things we need to do, because if you don't, a loving client will stop losing weight. Their weight loss will halt. Why? Because their spouse is unhappy. Their spouse is getting left out. Okay? Doesn't have to be fair. It's just how it happens. And we want to help our clients through that. So there's things that we can do in phase 5 to help our clients get rid of secondary gain. Now, all of this is helping our clients with the past, helping them with all of the things in their life that are causing anxiety, that are creating confusion and chaos and uncertainty in their life, okay? Now, these 5 sessions takes anywhere from usually 5 sessions on average, but sometimes it can be longer. So I have a client right now who, a different client who is stopping drinking, and his situation was a little more complex. There's a lot more stress in his life. There's a lot of things going on. So when I asked him, what brings you here today, he could talk probably for an hour about all of the different complexities and challenges and chaos in his life. So for that client, I'm working with him 7 sessions, okay? A little bit longer. And the reason is because it's more complex, okay? All right, so, but the secret ingredient is 7th path self-hypnosis. So not only are we going to be doing one-on-one hypnosis with our clients to help get them results, but we're also going to be teaching them 7th path self-hypnosis. And this is what they're going to be going home and bringing themselves into hypnosis using the 7th path induction, and then doing self-hypnosis every single day. So this is something that I check with my client ahead of time. Are you willing to sit for hypnosis twice a day for 15 minutes? They have to be willing to do that. And I find that this is a really good barometer if clients are willing to do the work. Most of them are. But if someone in this case were to say no, that would make me wonder if my client was thinking that hypnosis was magic and they're just going to sit in the chair. I've had plenty of clients, Erika, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to go sit in the chair and you're going to do your hypnosis magic on me. So we got to catch that ahead of time too. And we're going to tell our clients that they get to do all of the work. Okay, the answer's inside of them, but hypnosis makes it about 75% easier because we get rid of all of the chaos, we get rid of all of the confusion, and there's massive clarity on what they need to do. Now, the truth is they still need to do it. Okay, they still need to do it. So there's still action to take, and that's why the 5 sessions is usually really, really helpful, because we get to inspire and motivate them to follow through on the reasons why they came to see us so that they get ultimate relief. Okay? But the main reason that I love 5-Path, I love it that it's systematic. I love that I don't have to look for a script. I love that I don't really have to do major planning because I know I'm going to do kind of these same things with every client. And the reason that this can work is the emotion, okay? We've got to build up hope first or we won't get anywhere. And if you try to do anything without getting rid of fear, nothing's going to happen. So based on the emotional scale, this is a highly, highly effective strategy. And the number one reason I like it is because clients get results. That's the number one reason to do anything. Clients get results. Every single session that they come to see me, they are feeling better. They are leaving with insight. They are leaving their stress and anxiety behind. And so I wouldn't keep doing this if clients didn't get results. And, I've been a 5-pather now for 11 years, right? You might think that I got bored of it, but that just doesn't happen because it's a framework. It's not, it's not one of those things where you would get bored with because what the framework does is it allows you to not have to be looking at your notes. It allows you to fully be present with your client. And when you're fully present with your client, you are going to notice when they hesitate. You are going to notice when they change gear. You're going to notice something on their face, okay? So this work is super, super loving. Super loving. We are going to pay such close attention, maybe more close attention. You're going to give this client more attention than they have maybe felt in their entire life. As a matter of fact, we have a technique for that, and it's called stopping the world. I want you to stop the world for your client. Now, when your client notices that you've stopped the world for them, meaning they are the center of your attention, that alone helps so many clients. Why is that? Because so many people aren't getting the nurturing, the love, the care, the support. They're getting nothing that is of value to them. Nothing is helping, okay? And so a little bit of self-love, a little bit of nurturing, a little bit of care, a little bit of tenderness, a little bit of gentleness goes a really long way, okay, for our clients when they feel seen, heard, loved, listened to. I've had so many clients just say, oh my gosh, Erika, I've never felt like anybody's ever understood my situation before this, okay? And I'm not doing anything special. I am merely holding space and allowing them to share with me, and we're doing really, really good hypnosis that you can learn, okay? There's no special skills here. I know that there's a lot of hypnotists who talk about using their intuition, and that's great, but that's not how we do it, okay? The techniques that we will teach you are things that can be learned by anyone, okay? Now, it does take some skill, and that's why in 7 days of class, we spend 2 to 2.5 hours every day skill building and practicing. So by the time the 7-day class is over, it's not theory. You haven't been sitting there listening to a bunch of theory. You've actually been practicing and experiencing hypnosis so that by the end of those 7 days, you have had a personal experience with hypnosis. You know that you can hypnotize anybody who wants to do hypnosis with you, and you can go from what we call classroom to client. We want you to start working with clients right away, immediately, right after class. Remember, I told you that all the answers are within our clients. So you don't have to know everything in order to help your client take the next step. And so what we want to happen is you have a great experience in class and you go start working with clients right away, which is exactly what our grads from the July class are already doing. Okay, so one of our grads mentioned that she was a hypnotist to her hairdresser. The next day somebody called her and she got a client, and she's been helping that person already, and she didn't have to do anything extra than our training course, okay? So I want you guys to feel confident in your ability. If you want to be a professional hypnotist, this is an excellent training course for you, because not only do we go over how to help your client when they present with a certain issue to leave with full results, so that's the client experience. Not only will you learn the client experience and really good hypnosis and anti-anxiety, but you'll also learn the business side of getting clients, working with clients, and what to do to truly serve your clientele, meaning creating passive income or creating products that are serving your clients, but that you can take those products that are serving your clients. So you make a recording or you make a technique specifically for your clients, but you're going to turn around and then either sell that or give it away for free to bring in new clients, okay? So there's a couple of methods here, and in the training course where we want to help you be a professional hypnotist, get and work with your first clients, have success doing that, and then grow the practice of your dreams. All right, so there's more in here that we don't have time to talk over today. So what I want to skip to is the bottom here. We are looking for compassionate hypnotists to introduce a new era of hypnosis using modern and effective techniques. So there's a little weirdness here because I'm telling you that all the answers are within our clients, and that's true. But we need a lot of really loving, in my experience, is what people need, okay? They don't need the drill sergeant. They don't need someone being harsh. We've had too much of that. So what most people are looking for right now is gentleness. What most people right now are looking for is the truth. And that's what hypnosis taps into the truth. We get rid of all of the chaos, beta again, okay? We get rid of all of that and our clients are thinking more clearly. And so we really do need compassionate hypnotists who are guides, who are going to help our clients not fall into the trap of thinking, geez, why did this happen to me? And what's wrong with me? You have your heart in the right place because you love and you want to help people. We will give you the rest of the skills that you need, okay? So what are the requirements? Anyone with a desire to help others at the deepest level. That's it. You don't have to have any other skill whatsoever. You don't have to have any training or education in psychology or therapy or anything like that. But that being said, all of your past experience will help you. Okay, so my previous training as a professional as a software engineer still really helps me. Okay. All right, so let's skip ahead here. Here's a bunch of our grads who have done so well. This is Kathy Hardy. She texted me to tell me that last year, which was just 2023, last year she made $115,000 in hypnosis. Good job, Kathy. She is doing awesome, but we have a lot of grads like that. Barry, he works here in Arlington. That's Maggie. Samantha, she started her practice twice, once here and once I'm forgetting where she moved to, but it was over by Chicago somewhere. All right, so can you actually hypnotize somebody? Yes, because hypnosis is a normal and natural state of mind. I'm going to skip to the end here because I know we're out of time. Our next training is October 27th through November 2nd, 2024. It's over half sold out. We've got about 5 weeks out. This class will sell out, and we only have so many spots in person. I think we only have 2 spots in person remaining. So if you want to be here in person in Bellingham, please get registered as soon as possible. And our training program includes everything you need to be successful. The comprehensive pre-work, so there's some things to do in order to boot up so that you show up ready to go. And this is fun pre-work that you will appreciate. The 7-day in-person training, where it's a very enlightening experience where you will have a personal experience with hypnosis, and we want you to leave and go right into your practice. Okay, so we want you to go from classroom to client. All right. The hypnosis training library, we have a ton of advanced training in there based on different topics like weight loss and alcohol, that type of thing. We also give you the marketing content and templates, and the most important is the 6-month implementation program. So what we learned over the first couple of years of doing hypnosis training is a lot of our grads, as much as they liked doing hypnosis, they were having a problem with the business side of things. And so what we do, and this is unique, for our training program, we give you the option to keep working with us for 6 months, and we will help you launch your practice and get your first clients and get success with your first clients, and then get into a systematic awareness strategy so that your clients are coming in week after week after week after week. Now, of course, it's work for you to do this, but with our help, it is significantly easier. So that's what most of our students do. So here's the tuition. The tuition is $4,500 for just the certification training course, but the flagship certification, this is what most of our students choose, with the 6 months included. So it's only $6,500 to get a brand new career, you guys. It's really affordable. And the cool thing about hypnosis, there's not a lot of additional expenses. You can do the whole thing from home virtually, okay? You can have a small practice. My first office was 149 square feet. It doesn't have to be very big. So whether you want to start in a small office, a wellness center, whether you already have a practice and you want to add hypnosis to it, or if you just want to start a virtual practice, it is very affordable because this is going to be most of your expense, $6,500. You'll be fully trained and you'll have 6 months with us. And our goal is for you to get a return on investment in the first couple of months. You'll work with clients in the first couple of months and you'll get that return on investment. So by the end of 6 months, you should be ahead. You should have already made that money back and are making money systematically after that. Now, we want to invite each of you guys to come train with us, and you save $500 if you can apply by the end of day Friday. Tim, thank you, Tim, for putting in that link there. So go ahead and click on that link. You can apply to train with us. And the reason that we do it with an application is we just found that most of our students want to ask us some additional questions, or they just want to clarify something. And so when you apply, you will get scheduled with a short call with Tim or me. It's usually Tim, but we get to answer any other logistical or any other questions for you, and that usually works out well. If you don't have any questions, if you know for sure this is what you want to do, you can just directly enroll. You can skip that, and so we will follow up with an email on that as well. But what we want you to do is put the word success. If you apply, put the word success in there, and that is going to give you the $500 off. And it's also going to get you the $500 off if you do the direct enrollment. So thanks everyone for joining today. I know we're 5 minutes over, so thank you for your time. But before we leave, imagine how different your life would be if you knew you already had the skills of a successful hypnotist and can change people's lives with your work. When my client left this morning, he looked at me and he said, "Can I give you a hug?" And I was feeling the same way. And you know, it's just such a tremendous, fulfilling feeling to really be able to help people where they are at, and be a source of goodness and hope and relief for people who are struggling, because there's a lot of things in the world right now that are stressful. So thanks everyone for being here. Love you lots. Hope to see you in the hypnosis classroom soon. Bye for now.